Good afternoon and welcome to North Kildare Cricket Club, here for Game 5 and Game 6 of the Arachas Super 20 trophy between the Scorchers and the Typhoons. And without further ado, a couple of minutes ago, Isabel Joyce was out with the two captains in the middle for the toss. Let's see what happened.
Welcome to North Kildare for Game 5 of the Arachas Super 20 trophy. I have with me in the middle the captains of both teams. It's Leah Paul and Laura Delaney, and match referee Kevin Gallagher will toss the coin.
We'll have a field first, please.
Leah, you've won the toss and elected to field first. What's the thinking behind that?
I think we weren't sure how the pitch was going to play, so we decided we'd like to take to the field as a group, as a unit, and give it a good crack, I guess, and then probably know a bit better what we're going to do, have a plan with the bat afterwards.
Very good. And so you've already won this competition, so does that change your mindset at all, how you go about the game today?
I don't think so. We're obviously still looking to win these two games. We have a few changes in our team with maybe some less experienced players, with Gabby missing and Hannah Little, so I think it's a great opportunity for them to step in and kind of show everyone what they're capable of at this standard.
So those players you mentioned, who's coming in for those experienced players?
So we have Caoimhe McCann, Kate McAvoy and Christina Coulter-Riley.
Okay, well, best of luck for today. Laura, if you had won the toss, would you have done anything different?
Yeah, we would have had a field as well, but happy to bat first.
And we were speaking earlier, these are the last games you have before those really important qualifiers coming up. What are you hoping to see from the players today?
Yeah, that qualifying tournament isn't far away, and I suppose this is our last proper time out in the middle as a group. So hopefully go and put some runs on the board and then make it as competitive as we can in the field.
And do you have any team news for us?
Yeah, we have a couple of changes. We're still missing a few players, but Amy Hunter comes back in, Orla Prendergast comes back in for this game as well.
Okay, well, best of luck.
Thank you.
And that's the news from the middle. The Scorchers have won the toss and they've elected to bowl.
Yes, and that was Isabel Joyce out with the two captains earlier on this afternoon here in North Kildare, and the Scorchers winning that toss. Standing captain Leah Paul winning it and electing to field first, as you can see them coming on to the pitch. And we'd like to, myself and Isabel, extend all our thanks to the tireless work from the HBV Studios team to get a live stream up and running for everyone this afternoon. Hopefully there won't be any issues between the two games and should be a really exciting day. Isabel Joyce joins myself, Andrew Blair-White, in the commentary box, and should be a great day.
Yeah, it's always good coming to North Kildare for any cricket, really welcoming. There's a lovely coffee shop open, there's plenty of people around the ground, really nice viewing conditions, so if you're in the area, do join us. Otherwise, we look forward to calling these games for you throughout the afternoon. There's one match now and then another one later in the afternoon. These are the final two games of the Arachas Super 20 trophy. So it'll be Kate McAvoy to open the bowling for the Scorchers. She comes back in. A couple of changes for them today. No Gabby Lewis, so she's kind of their talisman, isn't she?
As she has been, getting a fantastic opportunity to go over and represent the Southern Brave in the Women's 100, and first game tomorrow, I think, before a final later in the week. So a fantastic opportunity and a great breakthrough for Irish cricket.
Yeah, huge. We've had a couple of people play in Australia, but no one so far has broken into the English franchise cricket from on the women's side before Gabby. Pity she wasn't there for the whole competition, but brilliant that she's been called in for these two games. So Kate McAvoy to Rebecca Stokel.
Yeah, very good start from McAvoy. Rebecca Stokel opening with Louise Little, which we've seen the Typhoons do multiple times already this year.
Yeah, straight on the money. Kate McAvoy moves the ball in, so sometimes can stray down leg early on in her spell, but beautiful movement there. A little bit too full, but has protection down at long on. And the other fielder out is fine leg. So expecting a good bit of movement. A new captain today with Gabby Lewis missing. We have Leah Paul. Thought she spoke well at the toss. She's an effervescent character. someone you always want in your team. Huge energy.
Yeah, been a really solid start this from McAvoy. Kind of burst onto the scene in the last year or two for YMCA. Extracts big movement with that new ball. Sometimes, as you say, Isabel, she can struggle a little bit, almost controlling that movement, but it's getting better and better. The more and more opportunities she gets at this level, the better.
Very full, but umpire Azam Ali Beg at square leg says it was low enough to his partner in crime, Johnny Kennedy. He's umpiring from the Fennel end. Yeah, Kate sometimes just strays down leg when she's not strong enough in her action, falls over a little bit and pushes it down leg, but she's looking fit and strong, so able to stay tall and get the ball on target. And that's the change up. I'm not sure she means it, which is even better. Just stays a little bit straight off the surface, and Lulu Little just hanging the bat out there.
Yeah, a little bit of a nervy start so far from Little. A good start from McAvoy. Pitch looked plenty green when we were out there this morning, so you'd assume that there might be a little bit in it for the bowlers.
And there is that wide. Shona Kavanagh not able to collect behind the stump, so they come through for an extra one. Yeah, it's not a high scoring ground, certainly in women's cricket anyway, North Kildare, because the boundaries are huge. Absolutely massive square of the wicket. They aren't nearly as long straight, but as you can see, there's not much pace off the wicket, so very difficult to hit straight. So we might not see a high scoring game. It might be more about the bowlers today.
Yeah, back on the money there, and overall that's a very good first over from McAvoy. A solid start from both sides. Typhoons are 3 without loss after 1.
They're yet to win a game in the Arachas Super 20 trophy, the Typhoons. A very, very tight game in match 4 last week that went to a super over, but then Gabby Lewis really blew them out of the water for that, hit 24 from it. Typhoons only able to get 3. But good to see that they're a bit more evenly matched after a couple of easier wins from the Scorchers in the match 2 and 3. Match 1 was abandoned, so it's a 3-0 to the Scorchers with 2 to play. But lots to play for everyone in these teams. Now, the team has been selected for the qualifiers coming up, but there's still that 50 over qualifier later in the winter. That's been moved to Zimbabwe. It was supposed to be in Sri Lanka. But no one's really set this competition alight. Leah Paul 63 and 44, only out once so far in the competition, so she's got a great average, but aside from her, not a huge amount of runs being scored by any other player. It's Leah Paul to take the second over. They take on mid-off. Sophie McMahon. She's just improving every single time you see her, isn't she, Leah Paul?
Yeah, we saw this last week with them opting to go with Leah Paul to start off the innings, which I think is a good move. Gets to see her in a different light. We've seen her bowl for Ireland, maybe kind of near enough the middle to back end of T20 innings. Great opportunity now to prove herself with the new ball in the power play overs. She tends to get Rebecca Stokel out a lot. That might be the other reason they've opted to open with her. Best friends, the two players, but Paul seems to know exactly how to get her clubmate out, and that might just play on the mind of the opener a little bit. Long on is the fielder out, and it's very straight cow. Yeah, a bit of a drag down from Paul, but Stokel gets it just out to long on for a single. You'd think Rebecca Stokel would probably want a little bit more pace on the ball, especially earlier on in the innings, and I think Leah Paul does exactly the opposite of that. She takes all the pace off the ball, makes batters force the initiative and can sometimes get wickets that way.
You can just see from that shot how little pace there is on the ball. No pace coming from the wicket. Lulu Little nearly scooped that one up to Lara Mertz in extra cover. The big shot. She just took a little bit more pace on the ball, got it above the eye line. Lulu Little's eyes lit up. And there was turn. It just didn't quite carry to Kate McAvoy in a kind of backward point, third man.
Yeah, you're right there. Little's eyes just completely lit up seeing that one above the eye line. Looking to try and hit that one straight down the ground, which is usually one of her very strong shots.
Real drag down. But again, Rebecca Stokel happy to take the single. Don't think we're going to see a huge number of boundaries today, especially Gabby Lewis out of the competition. That's 2 overs gone. And the Typhoons, a solid start there, 7 without loss.
And you can just see there, I think it's a pretty decent field they had set there for Leopold with long on and that straight deep mid-wicket. I suppose if you were batting, where would you be looking to try and target a boundary with that lack of pace on the ball? It is quite hard.
Yeah, I think if there was any stray in line just a little bit outside off, I'd be trying to get it between mid-off and extra cover, kind of a straight cut, if that makes sense. It's not really a drive. But without any width, it's very difficult to get her away. Can't hit McAvoy. Again, straight away on the money. And Rebecca Stokel showing real maturity, just keeps on taking the singles down to long on.
You can just see there, even with Stokel though, with that little bit of added pace on the ball, that swing through is just very fluent. We saw her make probably a breakthrough innings in that final Ireland Women's T20 International against Netherlands.
An edge. That one's going to race away. Chase is on, but they won't be able to cut it off. It's the first boundary of the day off the bat of Lulu Little. Not where she meant it, but the result is one that she'll be happy about.
Yeah, it's unlucky for the bowler here. Would have gone straight to a regulation first slip if one was in play. Little again, just a little bit in between shots there, not sure whether to go forward or to go back. Ended up stuck on the crease, but she gets a boundary and gets the Typhoons up and running.
That one's through the field between point and short third man. And they come back for 2. 6 runs and 2 balls. 7 from 2 overs and now 6 from 2 balls. That was Caoimhe McCann who did that bit of fielding. She's back into the team today. Big opportunity for her to force the selectors to think about her again. Short, and again beats the fielder on the offside, this time between cover and point. There'll be another couple, but that ball has stopped about 20 yards from the boundary. So like I said, I don't think we're going to see many boundaries square of the wicket today.
Yeah, I think it's going to test batters running today between the wickets. There's probably a lot of 2s and 3s out there. Might be the team that can run the best between the wickets, where you can get that little extra 5-10 runs per innings.
Another edge. A thicker one this time though, so they will only make 1. Lulu Little nearly ran her partner out. Looked to come back for the second and forgot that Caoimhe McCann has a great throw. Just about managed to get back there, Rebecca Stokel.
You know, almost sold down the river there, Rebecca Stokel. Clear yes-no call there, but gets back in, and this has been a very profitable over so far. 10 already from it with the delivery left.
full and wide, but gets through to Shauna Kavanagh behind the stumps. It's 3 overs gone. Typhoons moving nicely now. They're 17 without loss.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as this day transpires what a likely power score might be, or a winning score. You'd certainly think, based with the boundaries and the way they are and the pitch looking as green as it was, that maybe a score of 110, 120 might be very competitive.
I think that's par. 115, 120 is par. 140 would be an excellent total on here. I just worry about Lulu Little, the way she backs away from her stumps. Likes to play the ball outside her body and just exposes them a little bit too much for my liking. But obviously it works for her. Just died a little bit, didn't it? Nearly a no ball from a double bouncer, but not because it was short, but just because it died in the wicket.
Yeah, no bounce whatsoever there. And as you say, when Louise Little's kind of backing away the way she is, trying to access almost over that offside, you probably want the pitch playing a little bit truer than that delivery would have suggested.
She's so good off the front foot, Lulu Little, as well, so I don't really understand why she doesn't want to come towards the ball a little bit more. So Emer Richardson went over and had a word with her skipper. Might see a change up.
Yeah, stronger shot from Little this time round. Lara Moritz with a good piece of fielding at extra cover, and top ball's just accumulating here. Leopold being very tight again. Again picks out Moritz at extra cover.
Yeah, that's the ball that you really want. She needs to just hit that a little bit more strongly and find that gap between Lara Moritz in extra cover and Sophie McMahon in mid-off. Dances down, does find that gap, but Sophie McMahon, she's so good in mid-off. It's not really a position that you train for, but I think it's one of the toughest positions to field in.
And therefore it's extremely important to have a fielder or fielders on your team at both mid-off and mid-on that can almost specialise in that position. It's a hard one. Can the ball hit straight at you? That's a very good piece of fielding from Emer Richardson. It was good from Stokel moving across her stumps and trying to access no short fine leg in operation. But Emer Richardson's got down well there and saved a run or two for her captain.
Yeah, brilliant fielding. And then through from the knee. It's kind of an odd shot from Stokel, wasn't it? It was nearly French cricket. Stood back in front of her stumps and just flicked it rather than playing a strong shot. But she's obviously decided today she's going to play a little bit within herself, which is maybe not a bad tactic on a difficult wicket.
Yeah, we're going to see a change in bowling with Sophie McMahon coming into the attack from the Fennel end. Been so good both for the Scorchers and for Ireland in recent years. Very tight lines she bowls, and with the keeper up to the stumps, another difficult bowler to get away.
Yeah, she can fool you with her lengths. You sometimes think that she's bowling shorter than she is, and you play across the line. Really important to play her straight, but of course difficult to get her away because she does bowl such a good length. She's a really valuable player for the Scorchers and Ireland because she is a natural lower middle order batter, and you don't usually get those in women's cricket. You get kind of all-rounders or their top order batters and bowlers. So it's actually difficult to find people to go into that slot that know how to play in that position. It's actually quite specialised, where they come in late and they can score straight away, run well between the wickets and also find the boundary when 4 fielders are out.
Yeah, good running from Stokel. Very important sometimes in T20 cricket if you are facing a couple of dots to just get that single get off strike, placing that into a gap and cause our partner through. Lulu Little we saw in the Irish setup when she was a little bit younger. Obviously she can't bowl at the moment, but what would she have to do to probably get herself back into that picture?
Well, I think she is in the squad coming up, going to Scotland. She needs to be able to hit over the ring up top. I think that's the answer for her. At the moment, she's just struggling a little bit when the field is in to get it through that field or over it. And I think in T20 cricket they want batters up the top that can do that. She's going back to this delivery, which is probably not the right option. And again, just doesn't get close enough to the ball. But she's still very young, and obviously bowling is her number one skill, so plenty of time to learn her batting skills under the tutelage of Claire Shillington in Pembroke. Dances down, and that's the first wicket of the day. Sophie McMahon comes into the attack and strikes immediately.
Yeah, it just goes to show what a little bit of pressure can do. A couple of dot balls. There's pressure on the Typhoons, and Little's gone across the line here, trying to heave that one towards the long on area. It's clever bowling from Sophie McMahon and very good work from Shauna Kavanagh behind the stumps.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure why she didn't just go on her front foot and play from the crease, really. Anytime we saw her in the crease, she was going back, and then she decided to dance down to come down the wicket rather than just take the one step. It was actually kind of a poor delivery, unless Sophie McMahon knew that Little was going to go on the charge. And that brings Laura Delaney, the captain. She's out in the middle, looking good at the moment. She'll want to have a few good knocks today ahead of those qualifiers.
Yeah, she's been in really, really good form, Laura Delaney, in recent weeks, both for Ireland at club level and for the Typhoons. And you'd sense that she's the real key wicket here for the Scorchers to get if they were to pick her up early on in her innings. They could be in a little bit of bother. Really good stuff from Sophie McMahon, her first over, just going for the single and taking the wicket a little. The Typhoons are 20 for 1 after 5.
She made 12 from 17 in her innings. Lulu Little never really looked assured, if we're honest. A couple of streaky edges, but they'll still be delighted to see her back in the hutch. Leopold's been really impressive. 2 overs for her, just gone for 6 runs. But Sophie McMahon has taken the wicket. So Leopold will bowl her third for the last over of the power play. Really nicely bowled, just trying to draw Rebecca Stokel down the wicket.
Yeah, I think she continuously tempts Rebecca Stokel into that big shot and often gets her out playing that sweep shot across the line, where it's so hard to play that sweep with such little pace on offer.
That ball has moved a mile. You could see it, even though we have the camera behind Rebecca Stokel, you could see very early on that it was on its way. I don't think she can quite believe that that's gone down for a wide. Bit of grip that time, so forces a shot from Stokel.
Yeah, constantly mixing things up. Leopold, different variations. Obviously did bowl seam up until quite recently, so still has those variations in the locker.
Not sure that's one she'll have meant, but my only issue with the variations is you can see them in her action. You can see she really speeds. She nearly speeds up too much. Smaller variations are what you want, because then the batter doesn't necessarily realise it's that bit quicker, that bit slower. real tennis ball bounce, a wry smile from the bowler. A real battle between these two.
Yeah, you can tell to a certain extent that Stokel's struggling here, but she almost needs to just see out Paul and try tick over, get a single, get off strike.
Too good. Just too good that time, but actually well played from Stokel. Didn't push at it, so didn't catch the edge.
Yeah, plenty happening for Paul here. This gripping and turning quite a bit.
They take on the fielder. Richardson, she'll throw the bowler's end, but she needed to hit direct. A good single from Laura Delaney. She sensed possibly that Stokel needed to be off strike.
Yeah, very good work from Delaney there, just calling her partner through. Sometimes you need that desperately when you're facing a few drop balls. You just want to get off strike, and you need a willing partner at the other end to call you through. That's what Laura Delaney's done. And Rebecca Stokel can set up for the next over now.
Changing the field for Laura Delaney. They've taken out that straight deep mid-wicket and put in a 45 instead. She does love to play that tickle around the corner, doesn't she, Laura Delaney? It's a real shot she relies on earlier in innings to get off strike. She does love that cut shot though as well, so they have cover out. That's Delaney off strike, and that's the power play done and dusted. 6 overs gone. Typhoons are 24 for 1.
Yeah, very solid power play overall. It's been tough to get away so far this afternoon for the Typhoons. Good smart bowling from the Scorchers, tight lines, and as we've alluded to a couple of times, pretty big boundaries. Going to be hard to score at much more than a run of ball at any stage today, I would think. But the Typhoons have given themselves a pretty decent platform to build from.
Sophie McMahon bowling her second over from the Fennel end. The ball kind of sitting up, isn't it, from the wicket. If you do bowl short, it comes off the wicket very slowly, but difficult to play any pull shots or attacking shots because you just cannot tell how high it's going to bounce.
Yeah, very tennis ball bounce from certain lengths. Couple keeping a little bit low. Not easy out there as a batter.
Rebecca Stokel is set off. She's somewhat stranded, but Kate McAvoy, really good throw, just misses the stump. Sophie McMahon didn't even try to collect it. She thought that Stokel was gone.
Yeah, well, I think Stokel herself thought she was gone here. She kind of almost gave up halfway through the run back. Direct hit would have definitely been out.
Not sure what she was thinking. There was definitely no single there. Nice movement in from Sophie McMahon. I think Delaney thought she could cut it and then actually found it was far too close.
Yeah, it's very good bowling. This from Sophie McMahon, such tight lines. Enough movement as well to keep batters guessing.
They take on the fielder, a bit of a misfield from Paul. Long goes back out. Cara Murray, she'd come in for Delaney, goes out for Stokel. These two teams know each other so well. They're very difficult to bat actually because the fields are set so specifically. Good bowling to her field. Sophie McMahon went fuller but knew she had protection out deep.
Yeah, long on back for Stokel seems a very sensible move considering that's probably her biggest boundary option. That lifted shot over mid-on.
Really good ball to finish that over. She's bowled 2 and gone for only 3 runs in those 2 overs. Sophie McMahon, 7 overs gone. And Typhoons on 26 for 1.
It looks like we're going to see a change in bowling. For the first time today from the Moors end. I think Emer Richardson is going to come into the attack. Very similar plans to what they had last week out in Oak Hill, where Leopold bowled 3 overs straight through in the power play, and then Richardson comes on, and the fielders are allowed to spread that a little bit more.
Yeah, they have 3 spinners in their team. Karen Murray will be looking forward to coming on. As a wrist spinner, she's likely to get more turn than the finger spinners of Leopold and Emer Richardson. So protection on the leg side. Square leg, very, very straight. I don't know if you call that wide long on or straight mid wicket. There's also a regular long on. And actually it's a good fielding position on a slow wicket. When you're playing a slow wicket, if there's a drag down, you're actually better playing a kind of upright pull wide of long on. Richardson realises this and sets the field accordingly. Finely tucked on the leg side. It's going to come to a stop before the boundary. So just the 2 from it.
Yeah, well, Stokels had to graft pretty hard so far this afternoon for her 10 runs, but she's now got a little bit of an opportunity against a new bowler that hasn't been able to settle in just yet. Maybe get a few runs on the board.
What a catch. Take a bow, Emer Richardson. That's the catch of the season so far. Just stuck in the wicket a little bit. Stokel played too early and Emer Richardson held on to a screamer.
Yeah, it just goes to show the slowness of the wicket. Here Stokel trying to force that one down to long on off the back foot. It's again stuck in the pitch a bit. And really, really good work from Emer Richardson off her own bowling there. One-handed away to her right. Means the Typhoons are in a spot of bother here. 28 for 2.
That's a special piece of cricket. I think that one will get in the highlight reel for next season when HBV are putting that together. Love that before the game, the fire and all that kind of stuff. It just really adds an element, doesn't it? Brilliant for a live stream like this for women's cricket in Ireland. And as you said earlier, so good to have this live stream up and running, because we did think that there wouldn't be a live stream today. And this is the partnership for the Typhoons, Willa Prendergast and Laura Delaney. Prendergast just never seems to be in any bother, does she? Hits the ball so cleanly. Very tall batter as well, so difficult to find the right length to her, but does tend to just hit in the air a little bit at the start of her innings.
I think even for Prendergast it's going to be a bit of a struggle on this pitch. It's just quite slow, quite hard to get the hands through. She'll be looking to do. Gets off the mark there, tucking that one into the gap between mid wicket and short fine leg. Gets off the mark with a single.
Scorchers on the attack. They bring square leg in. I'm not going to allow Laura Delaney to get an easy single in the leg side. Dances down. Thought that one was through for a minute. These two as well playing their club cricket together for Leinster. That is when Emer Richardson's in Ireland. She's mostly plays her cricket in New Zealand, but great to see her home and part of this Irish setup again. Dances down again. Really beautifully played from Delaney. Just gets the one for it though.
Yeah, strong shot. But 4 from the over. The key wicket of Stokel for Emer Richardson. Typhoons 30 for 2 after 8, and I think that's going to be a hallmark of today. That was a really good shot from Laura Delaney, and it was only a single.
Yeah, you really have to work hard for your runs. It is the same wicket for both teams though, so it's not like it's going to be easy for the Scorchers later on. These two, no doubt, that we see batting will be happy to have ball in hand. Both frontline bowlers for the Irish team and the Typhoons. We're going to see Cara Murray for the first time today. Leg spinner from the NCU. I think as a leg spinner sometimes you're excited about bowling on wickets like this, but it nearly turns too much. Also the pressure on when you're a leg spinner bowling on these kinds of friendly wickets. You're expected to take loads of wickets.
Yeah, when it's so slow and as you say, when it's gripping so much, it can be sometimes difficult to get the batters to play and miss too much.
Of course you have to actually get the ball to land to get the turn, but I think it would have landed if Laura Delaney hadn't run down the wicket straight away. Never seen anyone like Delaney for coming down the wicket so early in a spell and in their own innings.
He always seems to be keen to try and get herself down the pitch, to the pitch, and try and hit through that line, but it's been a good start from Murray. None of these Scorchers bowlers have let the Typhoons off the hook here. Been very few loose deliveries.
Nicely played down the ground, long off and long on the boundary. There's also a deep straight mid wicket. Everyone else up in the ring now that cover's coming in. And square leg is going out for Orla Prendergast. Those boundary fielders on the rope, I'm not sure that's necessary. I think they could probably take a good 10 or 15 off the boundary, but only time will tell if I'm right or they're right. There's no one in 45, so they'll come back for a second, with keeper Shauna Kavanagh having to do the fielding.
Yeah, nice shot from Orla Prendergast, just deflecting that one into a vacant area. Yeah, I was just going to say, that deep mid wicket there, they seem miles away. It's an enormous boundary out there.
And it's a definite 2 you'd be looking for if you do hit it there. Good discipline from Prendergast, just pulled herself back at the last minute. I'm not sure that they should have these two straight fielders out. Maybe one, not both. Beautiful bowling from the leg spinner. That's the best ball so far today, I'd wager. A really good start from Cara Murray. 4 from it, 9 gone, and the Typhoons 34 for 1.
Yeah, really good grip from Cara Murray. I think that's interesting what you say there, Isabel, about the two fielders back straight. I think if Murray is really kind of backing her own skills and wanting them to play that shot, I think you could almost get a caught at mid-off on this sort of pitch. It's quite a hard pitch, as I was mentioning an over or two ago, to really get the hands through going straight, because it's slow.
Well, it just depends what your mindset is. Are you trying to take wickets, or are you trying to go for a very few runs? If you're looking for wickets, invite the batters to take a risk and try and hit you over the head of mid-off or mid-on. Emer Richardson returns a hopeful appeal. Very difficult to get an LBW bowling around the wicket, especially when it's turning that much.
Yeah, good length though from Richardson. This so length makes a batter very indecisive.
An easy shot out to that straight mid-wicket, but it goes over her head. The power and ease of Orla Prendergast, first maximum of the day.
Yeah, it's a super shot from Prendergast, just using her feet. Big old boundaries out to mid-wicket, but she just flicked that away, and it's Anna Kerrison out there with a hopeful attempt. It's always going over her head, and it's a needed 6 for the Typhoons. Gives them a bit of momentum.
It's amazing in a low-scoring game, isn't it, how much of a difference a boundary can make, especially when it's the maximum. Suddenly they shot up to 40. A drag down, but picks the fielder at long on. Ashley King nearly ran past that one. She wouldn't be used to fielding in conditions like this, coming from Australia.
Oh, that ball almost checked on her there. She was thinking he was going a little bit square. Another single for Prendergast, 11 off 8.
She always looks like she's batting on a different pitch, doesn't she? The way she played that 6, so dismissive. Just a flick of the wrists. Well bowled from Richardson. And she knew that Delaney was likely to dance down, so pushed it wider. But well played from Delaney in the end. Again comes down the wicket. Richardson trying to effect a run out, but gives the single away instead.
Yeah, you could see what she was trying to do there, Richardson. Trying to see whether she could deflect this one back into the stumps at the bowling end. As it happens, I think Orla Prendergast was well in, and they've managed to scamper through from a single. So good game awareness from Delaney. Keeps things ticking along. 8 from that over. At the halfway stage, the Typhoons are 42 for 2. If you were in the Typhoons camp, Isabel, what would you be looking to try and get up to?
Very good question. I think you have to at least get past 100. That's your first aim, and then if you last 2 or 3 overs have some wickets in hand, you can maybe press the accelerator and try and get up to that 115, 120. Carrie Murray bowling her second over. Down again, but just finds Lara Moritz an extra cover. Really hard fielding in that position when there's an artificial just popped up there, I think, on her.
Yeah, she's very straight there, that extra cover, which is probably wise to Laura Delaney, who looks to try and play that down to long off.
Chance and out. Just looked to play across the line on that one a little bit, Laura Delaney, and finds a fielder in fine form, Lara Moritz.
Yeah, well, I just alluded to the fact that Moritz was so straight at extra cover, and Delaney there just wasn't in control coming down the pitch, and it's just chipped that up. And it's a well-deserved wicket for Cara Murray. She's been very tight so far in her over and a half, and she's now picked up the big wicket of the Irish and the Typhoons captain, Laura Delaney, for just 5.
Yeah, it wasn't finding it easy today, Laura Delaney. They bowled to very specific plans, the Scorchers, and I think that extra cover was really more like a mid-off. So Orla Prendergast still out there. She's on 11 from 8. And it's not Georgina Dempsey, it's Mary Waldron, who's come up the order, perhaps because of the type of wicket that it is. Slow wicket. You'll see Mary Waldron sweep a good bit, which is a good option on a slow deck.
And just having a look at those bowling figures, been very tight from everyone so far. From the Scorchers, Sophie McMahon just going for the 3 runs from her 2 overs. Cara Murray started well, and for Mary Waldron, it's good to see here an aggressive option being taken, mid on and mid off, up in the ring. And looks like they're really going to try squeeze the new batter here, see whether they can affect a couple of dot balls.
Well, there are 2 fielders out there, both on the leg side. Everyone else up in the ring. Bit of a nervous start from Waldron. Had the feet kind of shuffling before she hit it, but she's off the mark straight away.
That's probably not been a pitch that if you're sitting on the sidelines you're licking your lips about to go in on. Looks tricky out there. I'd say, in regards to the question I asked you about where you're looking to get to, I think the Typhoons, if they got up to 90 or 100 here, are well and truly in the game.
Dragged down, but a chance. Kate McAvoy can't get past the umpire. I think she was so busy looking up at the ball she didn't realise that Azam Ali Beg was between her and it.
Yeah, there was almost a quite comical incident here between McAvoy and Azam Ali Beg. Don't think she was going to get there anyway, but umpire at square leg not giving her much opportunity to.
On the sweep straight away, Waldron places it backward of square. Two different runners here. Orla Prendergast Lightning and Mary Waldron not quite as fast as her younger teammate, but she will run hard. There's always a 2 out there.
Well, that's what we were saying earlier about those fielders being right back on the boundary. Should be probably 10 yards off there at minimum, maybe even 15. Shouldn't be 2 out there.
Fine. And that was a shot played on purpose from Waldron. Unfortunately for her, the wicket is, and the outfielder, slower than she would have liked, so just the single to close out the 11th. Typhoons 47 for 3.
Yeah, just ticking away here, and it's been a good start from Waldron, just finding different places to score runs. And I think sometimes in these sort of scenarios, as a batter, you've just got to find a way, and whether that's sweeping or whether that's nudging balls backward a point, something maybe a little bit different. Because probably the one criticism I'd have of the Typhoons just so far has been they've all played very similarly, and it's been a method that hasn't quite worked on this pitch. So maybe trying to do a few inventive shots, try to manoeuvre the ball around to different areas, might be the way to go.
Yeah, she's an innovative batter. Did I say that right?
I think so, yeah.
I won't try it again. Mary Waldron likes to, as I said, sweep. She'll paddle as well. Look to go over the offside. She'll have been on the sideline coming up with her plans. Emma Richardson returning for her third. And takes the wicket of Waldron straight away. Too much turn, looked to cut it, but it was on the stumps and she's bowled.
Yeah, it's the turn that's done for Waldron here. Thinking this one was outside off stump, and there the cut, and never really was. Probably an off stump line. It's ended up hitting middle. Waldron trying to play that forceful shot through the offside has perished for just 4. And it's going to see Georgina Dempsey come in to join Orla Prendergast. And she couldn't be in much better form, Georgina Dempsey, with the bat.
No, she's an impressive, very impressive young lady. Just during the week, scored the highest ever total by a female player in 20 over cricket. 134, if I'm not mistaken. Just 60 odd deliveries. I hope I'm not over exaggerating that. But yeah, she's someone that you hate to bowl to, hits in very odd areas, has a very open grip. As you can see, she looks a little bit like she's chopping wood. Has a bottom hand quite low to the blade and hits inside out, so likes to go over extra cover. Also hits well to the leg side. Good solid forward defence.
Yeah, good start. And Dempsey, you can also see she's got a very wide stance. Gives herself that area to try and hit through the ball. She did so successfully, obviously, midweek for Phoenix in that massive 100, and also last weekend out in Oak Hill for the Typhoons, getting them needed runs in this sort of a scenario.
Just tries to give herself room, but look at he played with a straighter bat than Mary Waldron did when she was bowled by Richardson. She looks like someone who's not willing to face too many dots, Georgina Dempsey. Dances down and long off is out. So while it was in the air, it was a safe shot from Dempsey.
Gabby Lewis aside, would you say these two girls at the crease now are the two cleanest strikers of a ball in Ireland at the moment?
They'd certainly be in the top 5, I think. I'm trying desperately to think of anyone else actually who hits more cleanly than the two. I don't think there is. Possibly Richardson herself. Nicely played, down to wide, long on, just about gets it past Ashley King. It does go for 6, but it's almost a half chance.
Yeah, again, Prendergast dancing down the pitch here, depositing this one over wide, long on. I think a tad harsh to call that one a chance, but
almost. I said almost.
Almost a chance.
Just the height that it was when
Yeah.
it went over the rope, but no, don't think King could have got there. Follows it up with a short one, and it's just died on the way through. Hit it pretty cleanly, but just the single. It's a fruitful final 3 balls of that over, 8 from it, 1 wicket though. 12 overs gone, and the Typhoons are 55 for 4.
Yeah, massively helpful to Orla Prendergast. 19 not out already off just 11 deliveries. 2 big 6s in there. And I know you said earlier about her seeming to always be batting on a different pitch, but I think that's never more relevant than it is today, because she's come in and doesn't look to be too many demons for her.
She's found the right way to play against Richardson. She's turning the ball into the right-hander. This is a pretty safe shot to come down and look to hit leg side. It's actually easier to play it that little bit across the line with the turn, so I think that mid-on could actually go wider. Unlikely to hit it straight down the ground. Cara Murray just changing a couple of things in her field. She's going for a 5-4 offside field. Long off is out, long on, deep straight mid-wicket and deep square. Just the one fielder in on the leg side in mid-wicket. Comes down again, but finds the fielder an extra cover. I think that's the area that she might be able to score though. If she can get under that, she'll send it over Lara Merton's head and extra cover. A chance up in the air. Caoimhe McCann underneath it and takes the big wicket. That's the one they wanted. Orla Prendergast goes for 19.
Yeah, trying to repeat the dose that she's done to Emer Richardson twice, but this time the ball's spinning away from Cara Murray. It's a really good piece of bowling, this. It's a good catch from Caoimhe McCann. Those are often deceptively hard at short third man. Off leg spin bowler, plenty of spin on the ball, but she's taken that safe as houses. That's a really, really big wicket for the Scorchers, now reducing the Typhoons to 55 for 5. Prendergast departs for a bright and breezy 19 from just 13 deliveries.
Yeah, 2 maximums in that innings. That'll help you go at a good strike rate. And we're going to see Amy Hunter, really exciting prospect from Instonians in the NCU. 2 real youngsters out at the wicket, both 16. Yeah,
great opportunity for the two of them here to impact the direction of this game. This 7 or 8 overs, incredibly important to how this game's going to end up looking like.
There's the change up. Georgina Dempsey read it and came down and smeared it into the leg side. Anna Kerrison doing the tidying up. So Amy Hunter, what can she do? Her team's on all the fives, or just past all the fives now, 56 for 5. But still 7.5 overs for the youngster to show what she can do. Amazing to think we still haven't seen Lara Moritz bowl today. Such a wealth of bowling talent in the Scorchers team. Goes over, hits it straight over the bowler's head, looks for 2, and Sophie McMahon just ran past it a little bit. Georgina Dempsey comes back for the second. That's really good running.
Yeah, really good running and a good positive shot from Amy Hunter to start off her innings. Straight down the ground, full face of the bat, and it's not the first time today we've seen fielders slightly kind of run round it, almost plugging in the outfield a little bit, and therefore you can be a little bit wrong-footed. Yeah, we haven't seen Lara Moritz yet, haven't seen Ashley King yet. Plenty of options, but they've decided that spin's the way forward.
Yeah, and they're right. They're definitely right. You want to bowl as many overs of spin on this wicket as you can. And actually, the extra pace would probably be welcomed by the Typhoons. Ashley King probably the quickest bowler, although I'm sure Lara Moritz would have something to say about that. Dances down, misses and bowled. Just played across it there. Georgina Dempsey leant back too much. She wanted to hit that one over the trees, but she's paid the price.
Yeah, clever bowling this from Emma Richardson, using all of her experience there, tempting Georgina Dempsey down and spinning it past the bat there and hitting the top of middle stump. And you could tell from Richardson there the fist pump was out. She knows just how important a wicket that is. The Typhoons in all sorts of trouble now at 58 for 6.
Jane Maguire comes out to join Amy Hunter. Hits a very hard ball. Jane Maguire, I can attest to that, having played her 3 times so far this season. Hits really well straight. She's a good strong player. She'll be looking for the ball over Richardson's head, but doesn't really like playing spin, and unfortunately for her, really doesn't like playing Cara Murray, who's bowling from the other end, so it'll be a tough battle for her. Huge task for her with 6 wickets down.
It's probably not the day for a batter that doesn't like facing spin, because I would assume you're going to face plenty of it.
Too good. Too good from Richardson. Good smart work from Kavanagh behind the stumps as well. Not an easy day to be a wicketkeeper. That bounced over the stumps. You don't see that often from a spinner, do you?
No, very good bounce on offer there. Maguire trying to combat that, coming down the crease to that previous delivery.
Bit of a swipe. But good fielding on the boundary from Christina Coulter-Riley. She's come into the team today. I've just seen Lara Moritz warming up in extra cover. That might be a sigh of relief from the Typhoons batters. A bit of pace. They'll have to survive Emma Richardson first. Questions asked. Azam Ali Beg nods the head, lifts the finger, and Amy Hunter has got to go.
Yeah, another one for Emma Richardson this. Again, spinning back into the pads. Amy Hunter wasn't really forward there, and I think that looks pretty adjacent on replay. A fairly simple call for Azam Ali Beg. And the Typhoons, it's not getting any easier for them. Richardson has her 4th. And they're now 59 for 7 as Hunter has to depart.
And we just see a little bit of rain falling now, kind of out of the blue. And the misty rain that you pretty much only get in Ireland. It's that rain where you actually get wetter if you're walking, because you walk into the rain as it hangs in the air. Celeste Rack will join Jane Maguire. Her batting's improved hugely this year, but probably doesn't relish the idea of trying to hit boundaries out here in North Kildare. Very difficult to come by. I don't think we've talked about the weather enough, Andrew. We don't have Andrew Leonard here to fill everyone in on how things are out here, so we'll have to fill the gap. It's nice and warm. Warmish.
Yeah, it's nice and warm. It's very funny conditions actually out here. It's Rack trying to play what I'd have to say is probably a trademark of hers, that late cut. Not enough pace on the ball, and that completes Emma Richardson's spell. 4 overs, 4 for 21. A really excellent spell from the experienced.
Yeah, when you consider that 12 of those runs came out of 2 deliveries when Orla Prendergast deposited her over the rope. She's been miserly for the rest of the 3.4 overs. And we are going to see Lara Moritz for the first time today. She's coming on from the Fennel end. Jane Maguire can sigh with relief. Doesn't have to face any more spin.
An opportunity sometimes when pace is on the ball. You never know what can happen. You can get a few cuts away, and be interesting to see how Moritz goes about trying to bowl on this sort of pitch, whether she'll use some of her change-ups. She obviously usually bowls quite an aggressive back of a length delivery as her stock ball. It's probably not the pitch to be bowling that type of length though.
I think if you can get a catcher in front of the bat, it's not a bad option, but the slower balls will probably grip as well, so we might see a few of those. Very full, but Jane Maguire opts to go on the back foot. It was there to hit if she'd come forward.
Well, Maguire was trying to crunch that one through. The cover is off the back foot, but got through quickly from Moritz. Good pace on offer.
Thin edge and gone. An easy catch behind the stumps from Kavanagh, and Moritz takes her first victim.
Yeah, really nice delivery this from Lara Moritz, and Jane Maguire just not getting forward enough there. Stuck in her crease and ended up just fencing the bat at that one. And a regulation catch for Kavanagh. And this innings has fallen apart at the seams. And the Typhoons a couple of overs ago, they weren't in a bad position, but now 59 for 8.
Yeah, disappointing from Jane Maguire. Just didn't move her feet at all. Stuck in the crease, as you say. She's gone for 1 from 6. And Ava Canning will join Celeste Rack. Hits the ball very hard, Ava Canning. So it's a tale of woe, really, for the Typhoons. 3 players getting into double figures, but nothing really to write home about.
Oh, it's been tough going, and as you can see there, as a coach you're usually wanting partnerships throughout any format of cricket, and that just hasn't been there so far.
Now, Ava Canning has improved her batting hugely in the last couple of years, but I've never seen someone who hits the ball as straight as her. You literally don't really need fielders anywhere but mid-off and mid-on. It's incredible stuff. You'd nearly opt for mid-off and long-off. Hits her on the pad, but going down leg.
Yeah, they scramble through for a leg by at this stage for the Typhoons. Every single run critical, trying to get up to any type of total here. Quite clearly going down.
Yeah, you can see all 3 stumps there on the replay. So Celeste Rack will be another one that's happy to have pace on the ball, something to work with. Does tail back in though, prefers a bit of width to play her trademark shot behind point. So a really good over from Lara Ritz. That's 15 overs gone, and the Typhoons in all sorts of trouble, and 60 for 8.
Yeah, there'll need to be obviously a change in bowling from the Moors end, with Richardson having bowled her full complement.
And we're going to see more spin. Anna Kerrison. She's coming on from the Moors end. Very canny bowler. Changes her pace well. Has a funny action. She's got very double jointed Anna Kerrison, so her wrist can twist every which way. There's Ava Canning again hitting straight to mid-off. It's a good ploy, learn how to play straight early and then add the other shots later, especially when you're playing at the top level. The balls do tend to be bowled on the stumps more often than not. We've certainly seen that today. The trademark shot is back.
Well, she has a brilliant ability to play that shot off almost every single delivery. I think she's played that one off middle and leg stump. Still somehow getting it out towards backward point.
Hits it in the air towards McMahon, who shells it. Just, I think, went with the wind a little bit. She ran underneath it.
Yeah, it's a poor enough drop this from McMahon. Never looked quite happy under this one.
Just playing a good hand here, Ava Canning. One leg by of her 4 deliveries and 2 singles. Yeah, it's a funny one playing on this wicket. It was the right shot from Rack, but because it's so slow off the deck, she got through the shot earlier than she meant to. Normally hits it over extra cover rather than to mid-off. It takes all the pace off that one. And Kerrison, but another single. And not a friendly throw for Shauna Kavanagh.
No, not particularly, but good again from Canning running through there. Good from these two. 4 singles from the over so far.
Smears that one to long on. So tall, Ava Canning. She actually probably finds it a little bit easier than most to play on this wicket. 16 overs gone. Typhoons 65 for 8. So if they can get up to 80, I think that's a result for the Typhoons. Just 15 more runs from 4 overs is doable for these two.
Again, good running. We've seen Rack involved in many good partnerships for the Typhoons this year. Probably more suited to the 50 over competition, but she scored some good runs in the lower middle order. And when you can be a batter that can be involved in partnerships, even if you're not the strong scorer within them, you're very useful to your side. And if they were to get up to even 80, 85 here, it just gives them a small bit to bowl at.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. I actually think possibly for the next game they would consider bringing her up the order. As you say, she's suited to the 50 over game, and it's more 50 over batting that's required today, even though it is just a T20. Carved into third man. Plays that with real aplomb.
Yeah, it's an excellent shot, and sometimes that can run away for a boundary. She's played that very fine. It's a very well executed shot, and even if you only have a couple of shots, if you can play them as well as Rack does, it can be quite effective. And Ava Canning looking pretty effective as well.
Absolutely. Well, Lara Moritz has decided to bowl at the body of Ava Canning, but that just means that she's taking out most of her modes of dismissal. Canning doesn't really look comfortable when it's at her, but she's still managing to get off strike. But perhaps Moritz knows that Canning's strength is playing straight, so she's trying to take that option away. It's kind of like a game of chess, isn't it, sometimes, cricket?
Yeah, we've got the old school shoelace tying going on at the moment for non-striker Ava Canning. Both of them seem to have gone. And Eva Richardson, I believe it is, at mid-wicket there doing the honours.
It's going to be a tricky total. You'd almost prefer as a batting team, when you're batting second, to have a normal total. Sometimes negotiating a low total can be more difficult. And the under edge was a good hand from Shauna Kavanagh. Saved an almost certain boundary.
Yeah, great stop. That from Kavanagh. Those can often just run away, and they're heartbreak for a bowler. To get a good hand on that just stops it. Only makes it a single. So far again though, 4 off this over with the delivery left. Doing a more than useful job, these two in the middle. Until now, because Lara Moritz has got it on the stumps. Ava Canning trying to play down the ground yet again, but this time probably a little bit too quick. And Moritz gets another wicket, and it is 69 for 9.
Yeah, just backs away a little bit, trying to give herself room. Didn't move her feet towards the ball in any meaningful way. So it's going to be sister to sister. Ava Canning's gone for 4, and that brings Maria Kerrison out into the middle. She'll be at the non-striker's end because that was the end of the 17th. And Anna Kerrison will have an opportunity to bowl to her sister if Celeste Rack can get off strike.
I saw Maria Kerrison was an invaluable asset for, I think, the Leinster under 19 girls midweek. Took 4 wickets in a tight win against the Northwest.
Yeah, she was incredible. I know I said that Richardson's catch was the catch of the season, but in fact I have to say Maria Kerrison's catch to win that game was even better. Took a full stretch diving catch to her right, bowl's right arm over. Ball was hit about 6 inches off the ground, and took a cotton bowl to finish the game, winning by 4 runs. Brilliant game of cricket. So I don't think we're going to see Ashley King today in the team for her fielding. Missed out there, Rack. Was given width, but just didn't manage to connect.
Yeah, Kerrison darting through these overs quickly.
What a stop from Cara Murray in cover. Disappointment from Rack. She hit that one well. Thought she'd found the gap, but didn't quite get it through.
Yeah, great stop with this. Rack there trying to force the initiative. Just gets a single. The one from it, very quick over that, and a very good one as well Manna Kerrison ends the 18th. The Typhoons 70 for 9.
12 balls left for Rack and Kerrison to negotiate. 9 wickets down. It's difficult to force the issue, isn't it? You can't really take risks because there's no one coming in behind you. As we'll see Sophie McMahon return. A bit stiff from Larimer. It's 2 for 3 from 2. She's been taken off. As McMahon's going to bowl her third.
I was just about to say you'd feel a little bit hard done by. Standing at mid-off, having been taken off after 2 for 3, but Sophie McMahon 1 for 3 from her 2 overs coming into this over, so more than that's excellent bowling. Rack trying to play an adventurous shot there over extra cover. Really smart bowling from McMahon. So difficult with the lines she usually bowls. Rarely seems to give any width away.
Just that little bit of movement in means it catches the inside half of Rack's bat. She's trying to get the hands through the ball.
Yeah, really tight work this. And Rack just can't get any bat on ball. And I wonder whether she's almost trying to play too adventurously here, and she was doing very well at the start of her innings, just finding singles.
I think she's trying to farm the strike. I'm not sure that's necessary. Maria Kerrison, very, very good batter herself. Really good fielding from Captain Leah Paul in point. Can't get that one through Rack. I think every single ball of this over she could have played her trademark shot and got off strike. Instead she's trying to hit boundaries. And actually what she's done is faced 5 dots.
It's the problem when you're looking to maintain yourself on strike that you actually can end up playing a lot of dot balls. But that's a lovely shot from Rack. It's going to plug in the outfield, so it's just going to be the 2. It's the shot that I think she was trying to play for the majority of the over. Finally gets one out of the screws and gets 2. That's the end of the 19th over. Another tight one from McMahon. Typhoons 72 for 9.
So final over of the Typhoons innings, and we'll see Maria Kerrison facing... Oh, her sister's come off. Leah Paul bringing herself back on for her final over. Loops down leg side, and it will be an extra run because they're going to run through. So valuable runs for the Typhoons. Just slipped out of the hand, I think, for Leah Paul.
Yeah, adds an important 2 to the total for the Typhoons. Just a complete loosener from Leah Paul. Sometimes can be hard. You've bowled 3 overs at the top to just come back for the solitary over right at the end. Right back on the money there.
Celeste Rack pointedly fixing the wicket there, showing her frustration. Hits it over extra cover. There's a fielder right there. They might take her on. They are going to take her on, and now there's confusion. It was all happening. I'm not even sure what happened in the end. Shauna Kavanagh just didn't collect the ball for the run out, and I think Leah Paul could have taken the run out from her end.
Well, I think this is it. Leah Paul could have actually just taken the bails off really quite easily at her own end. Then Shauna Kavanagh, I think, has dislodged the bails at the wicketkeeper's end, and they've ended up getting through for 2.
Hits it straight, chance for McMahon, but goes down. Maria Kerrison opting to take another chance, and it's really good running from her. She takes a tumble, but it's another 2 runs to the total.
Yeah, another 2. This would have been a really good catch from McMahon diving away at mid-off, but spills it, and because the ball didn't have the energy, it's gone for 2.
A good last over this for the Typhoons, 6 from it so far. And that one has just rolled along the ground. So Celeste Rack looking to score a bounder, another 2. And unfortunately the ball goes under her bat. So that's the 10th wicket, and Rack has to go.
Yeah, not much you can do about this sometimes as a batter. Bit of variable bounce. Good keeping that from Shauna Kavanagh. Have to stay very low, and has done well. Whip the bails off and completes the innings, and it's been a fine effort from the Scorchers, keeping the Typhoons to 78 all out, which you'd have to assume, even though the pitch has been a bit difficult at times, is a below par score.
Yeah, disappointing from the Typhoons. I'd actually nearly question the umpire and say, should that not be a no ball, that last delivery? It went along the ground. Of course, if it bounces twice, it's a no ball. So I don't see why that should be any different. But they've given it out. 2 balls unused in the innings, and the Typhoons are 78 all out. And we'll take a short break as the teams swap over and warm up. And I'll be back with you at 2:45 for this Arachas Super 20 Trophy Match 5.
I've asked for a brush, okay? They don't even have a brush, so they went for that. So I told them not to roll it until they clean this up for you. Yeah. So yeah, no, I told them they don't have a brush for these things, so they have to stop. So yeah. Right. So I would just tell them that not roll it.
No, but look at the camera there. Yeah, no. Because if you hit 5.
That's going to be a disaster. I think I might quiet myself in front of the camera.
Hello and welcome back to the run chase of Game 5 of this Arachas Super Series T20 competition between the Scorchers and the Typhoons. Earlier on this afternoon, the Scorchers won the toss and elected to field first. As you can see there on the bottom of your screen, bowled the Typhoons out for 78, which looked a little bit under par. It was an excellent bowling performance, 4 wickets for Richardson. Plenty of other tight spells as well from the Scorchers, but they're in pursuit of this 79 and opening up with Caoimhe McCann and Sophie McMahon. And we're going to see Ava Canning, who's been opening the bowling for Ireland this summer, open the bowling for the Typhoons. And you'd have to think, Isabel, that we're going to have to see a few early wickets for the Typhoons to have any chance in this game.
Yeah, wickets early and often is what they require. Ava Canning coming in from the Fennel end, Caoimhe McCann to face up in the air, but misses the fielder, runs straight away. Amy Hunter gives chase, it won't reach the boundary. Good throw from her, keeps it to just 2. You would have thought off the bat that would run away for the first boundary of the day, but runs are hard to come by.
Yeah, real positive start though from McCann, flicking that one away. And usually with these smaller run chases, you're just looking to try and break the back of it pretty quickly.
Better lines from Ava Canning. She's a sweet timer of the ball, Caoimhe McCann from Malahide. Hasn't played too many games for the Scorchers this year, so gets her opportunity with Gabby Lewis out of the team. Almost through, and it is through. She thought she'd kept it out, but it rolled back on the stumps and just dislodged the one bail. Disappointment for Caoimhe McCann. She goes for 2.
Well, that's exactly what the Typhoons needed. This is awfully unfortunate. It's just rolled back onto that off stump and dislodged the solitary bail. So often with those ones, they don't even take a bail off. Wasn't so much momentum on the ball, but it's an early wicket for the Typhoons. McCann departs for 2. Scorchers 2 for 1. They'll bring Emma Richardson to the crease, who hasn't really been in the run since her return from New Zealand, but I think everyone knows the quality and the power she possesses with the bat in hand. Type of batter that could take this game away from the Typhoons pretty quickly if she got going.
Yeah, she's got all the shots. Emma Richardson made an incredible 50 against Clontarf in 50 over last week. Didn't seem to matter where the fielders were, she was able to play it wherever they weren't. Our only complaint, I think, in the Ireland matches has been that she looks to play square probably too much when she's very strong straight. She always says she's not, but I think she plays well down the ground. And plays her club cricket for Leinster, as does Ava Canning, so she'll know lots about her. Plays straight away in the air towards the boundary. It'll plug and just go for 2. A good attacking intent from Emma Richardson.
Well, it's quite clear that the Scorchers have been given fairly free licence here to go out and try and put the Typhoons openers under pressure. It's a real positive start from Emma Richardson.
Toes that one, chance for Jane Maguire, who takes it at 2nd wicket. You said they needed wickets early. We said they needed them often, and they're doing it. 2nd wicket for Ava Canning, and Richardson goes for 2.
Yeah, well, this is sometimes what can happen when you try to take that aggressive approach and try to make sure that you don't let the opposition in. You can give away early wickets, and with the Scorchers 4 for 2, say there was suddenly a little bit of unrest in that camp. I'd say they were extremely happy at half time with their bowling effort, with Shauna Kavanagh having to come to the middle plenty earlier than she would have hoped.
They may have looked at that total and said, It's an easy one to chase down, but remember, the Typhoons found it very difficult to bat on, and it's not going to change much between the two innings. A bit of respect would probably be required from the Scorchers batters. It was in the air for long enough that Sophie McMahon will get her first look at Ava Canning for today, and she's joined, as you say, by Shauna Kavanagh. Real experience at the wicket. It's an eventful over, final ball of it. It's 1 over gone. Scorchers 4 for 2.
Yeah, great start from Ava Canning. Getting the Typhoons in with a chance here. We're going to see, I think, Celeste Rack with the new ball from the Moors End, which I think is probably a wise enough decision. See whether she can get a bit of spin from this pitch and maybe try and get another 1 or 2 wickets.
Yeah, the disappointing thing for the Typhoons is she's the solitary spinner in the team. They do have Freya Sargent available, but she's 12th player today. And it couldn't be more different, the beginnings of the two innings. Rebecca Stokel in particular was measured, happy to take singles, wanted to take the game deep. The Scorchers have come out all guns blazing, and it's not paid off so far. 2 wickets gone already and just the 1 over gone. 2 fielders out are square leg and deep mid wicket. Shauna Kavanagh does like to play the sweep shot. Good start from Rack, and she does try and sweep straight away.
Yeah, really good start from Rack. A tempter. That's a really good shot from Shauna Kavanagh. Sweeping that fine, and again another one that just plugs a little bit in the outfield. There's plenty of rain here yesterday. North Kildare were meant to play Cork County in the Buakit Championship game. It was rained off without a ball bowled, and you can tell from the outfield a little bit wet.
That's where she needs to bowl Celeste Rack, that line, possibly just a little bit shorter. Order Prendergast ready to take any catch that Kavanagh was willing to hit her. If she bowls too straight to Kavanagh, she's likely to be swept. A good single from the Scorchers.
Yeah, good call from Shauna Kavanagh. Immediately knew once she'd hit that it was going to be wide of the fielder, that there may be a single there. Calls through Sophie McMahon.
Good lesson for anyone watching. If you see a fielder go to ground, if you know that they're going to have to go to ground to field the ball, then you should take them on. It's very difficult to dive and get up and throw and run 2 quick runners between the wickets out. Fielder goes out on the offside for Sophie McMahon. Funny little shuffle across to get in line from McMahon. Good fielding from Prendergast, goes to the right end, and Sophie McMahon thought that was through. A 3rd wicket goes down for the Scorchers. Sophie McMahon goes for a duck.
Yeah, hard to know who was at fault there for the Scorchers. They'd taken a single very similar to that earlier on in the over. This time McMahon was trying to call Kavanagh through to try and get off the mark, but it's an excellent piece of fielding from Orla Prendergast, and then to have the wherewithal to listen to the call, lob it into Mary Waldron, who had the easiest task, and this run chase is now looking very edgy for the Scorchers at 7 for 3.
Incredible stuff. I don't think that taking Orla Prendergast on twice was a good option for McMahon. She's an excellent fielder. She wasn't going to let them steal a single to her again. We usually see her with the new ball, but I wonder, is she being rested today? Does suffer with shin splints, or maybe they've just decided spin is the way to go. Good over from Rack. Looked assured. Struggled a little bit earlier in the season, but that was probably the best we've seen her start all year.
Yeah, it was a really good over, and that's what they'll need.
Big swing from Ava Canning. And Shauna Kavanagh's just taken a big lump out of the wicket to keep that one out.
Yeah, she's taken an absolutely massive divot out of the pitch there. Shauna Kavanagh. Do a bit of gardening. This run chase could get pretty slippery pretty quickly here for the Scorchers. 7 for 3, and if the Typhoons can just get that required run rate to lift and lift, maybe get it towards 5 and over 5s, might get them well and truly in this game.
Great tight bowling from Canning. She's exactly the type of bowler you want on this wicket if you're a captain. Just bowls at a nagging kind of pace, and her height helps her elicit extra bounce from any wicket she's bowling on, in particular this one. Takes the inside edge. Good awareness from Lara Moritz. She comes through for a single. The other bowlers that Laura Delaney has to choose from, we've got Jane Maguire, bowls really good away swing. And of course, Prendergast, we mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if she's bowling today. She could bowl herself, Laura Delaney. And she's also got Georgina Dempsey. Maria Kerrison, of course, you mentioned she took 4 wickets for Leinster against the Northwest earlier in the week. It was Leinster under-19s against the Northwest women's team. Really good game, good matchup. But she's in good form as well. And through, Canning takes her 3rd wicket of the day. Scorchers in all sorts of trouble at 8 for 4.
Yeah, it's a brilliant delivery this from Ava Canning. Not quite as much swing this time round, and Lara Moritz not playing down the right line there. Canning getting her 3rd wicket, 3 for 5 now, and the Scorchers really in a lot of bother here at 8 for 4, and the captain Leah Paul's coming to the crease now, and she obviously opened the batting last weekend down in Oak Hill. Perhaps has been put down the order to give others an opportunity, but she's got the same task on her hand here.
Yeah, she's the highest run scorer in this competition. 119 from the 3 matches that have been played. And if you're a Scorchers fan, that's dismal reading. 2, 2, 0 and 0 are the batters out so far. Ava Canning has been awesome. Just bowled 2 overs and has taken 3 wickets. Celeste Rack has been really good as well. She'll have to bowl that again. She's just checking that everything was right with her field. Another wicket. The 5th one goes down. A big shot from Kavanagh. She misses a full one and gets bowled by Rack.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant from the Typhoons, and the Scorchers are self-destructing here in this run chase. It was up above the eye line from Rack. well flighted, tempted Kavanagh into that big sweep shot. It's ended up in her departing for 4. And the Scorchers now 8 for 5, chasing 79 to win. They are 8 for 5. And in all sorts of trouble now. Just adds another, you can see that scorecard there, 2-2-0-4-0. Not what Coach Glenn Quirrell would have been hoping for. And that looks for much better reading for the Typhoons.
Yes, I think Coach Claire Shillington will be happy with those 2 bowlers on your screen there. 3 wickets for Ava Canning, 1 for Rack, and there's been a run out as well, so 5 wickets gone. 8 for 5 from 3.1 overs. That's Christina Coulter-Riley comes out to the middle. A big task for the youngster. Hasn't batted in Super Series match before. And they aren't friendly conditions out there. Edged. And looking for 2, but she won't get it. Laura Delaney chases it down. Off the mark for the youngster.
Yeah, it probably depends on what sort of a mindset of a person you have going into bat at this stage. You can either take the approach that it looks very hard and you could be quite nervous, or you could see it as a great opportunity. Still well manageable, the required run rate here for the Scorchers, only at just above 4. Only 70 runs required. Just takes one good partnership and they could well win this game. But you need to have the players and the mentality to go and do so. And if anyone was to have that, it might be Leah Paul.
Yeah. It's very handy for her that she's a left-hander. They're going to come back for a second, taking on the throw of Rebecca Stokel, but it wasn't quite accurate enough. Really good fielding from her. A valuable 2 runs for Leah Paul.
Yeah, good running this. It's a good piece of fielding from Stokel though. The one-handed pick-up, and it was a little bit closer than I'd first thought.
I'm not sure Mary Waldron made the right decision to come towards the ball there. Another sweep from Paul. The 2 fielders out are square leg and mid-wicket. Good fielding from Amy Hunter. Keeps it to just 1. I think if I was Celeste Rack, I'd just be trying to get Paul off strike, which prefers bowling to the right-handers. Paul, the solitary left-hander in the competition.
A dot to finish up there, which concludes another good over for the Typhoons. The Scorchers 12 for 5 in this run chase. It's been a bowler's day, Isabel.
They have to have a day out sometimes, the bowlers. That's the Manhattan. All those circles that you see are the wickets. They've fallen often in both innings, but I think that partnership up top from the Typhoons is looking more and more valuable. They were 20 for 1 after 5. We thought it might be a little bit slow, but when you look at this innings, 12 for 5 from 4. Ava Canning is going to bowl to Leah Paul. They've put a slip in place, and Celeste Rack is on the boundary in 3rd man. I'd like to see a couple of slips. This is the wicket that really would almost put the nail in the coffin for the Scorchers.
Yeah, probably pretty sensible batting that from Leah Paul. You've got to see who the key bowlers are, and Ava Canning is in really good rhythm at the moment. She's bowled very well all summer. Canning, both for the Typhoons and for Ireland. On the money yet again there.
It's the swing, but it's also the length that she bowls. So difficult to get away, especially going away from the left-hander. Great fielding. They look up for it here, the Typhoons, and why wouldn't they be? Half the wicket's gone already and just into the 5th over.
Yeah, well, I would say if you're not lively in the field when you have the opposition 12 for 5, you're never really going to be. Strong shot from Canning, or from Paul, should I say, and it's burst through the hands. But again, hasn't got the legs on it to get to the boundary, and even though it's gone through Maria Carson there at mid-on, Jane Maguire has managed to make it all the way from mid-off to stop it going for 4.
Down the hill to the shortest boundary and still doesn't manage to go over the rope. That just shows you how difficult it is to score runs out here today. I think that shot probably surprised Maria Carson at mid-on a little bit. It was like a straight sweep. Good clever batting from Leah Paul. It is a day for innovation. Difficult wicket to bat on. She's finding a way. And plays a similar shot this time over mid-wicket. Orla Prendergast chases it down, keeps it to 2. Good smart batting from Paul. That's 5 overs gone. Scorchers 16 for 5.
Yeah, really clever that from Leah Paul. Just finding a way of scoring runs there. And look at that worm. Haven't started off as they would have wanted by any stretch in the Scorchers. But at the same time, this game is not beyond the bounds of, not out of reach. They do need to keep wickets in hand. These two have to try and build some type of partnership. You'd have to think if they were to try and get quite close here.
Peel. Azamali Beg is unmoved. The Typhoons seem pretty certain, but the most important man on the field for that decision has decided against it. I can't really see from here. Didn't hear anything myself, but we are quite far away.
No, very hard to see from that replay. Not really conclusive enough, but the Typhoons did look set on it.
Pulled leg side, takes on the fielder, and it's out. A direct hit from Jane Maguire. They're on fire in the field, the Typhoons. 6th wicket goes. Coulter Riley perishes.
Real shame this for Coulter Riley, because it was a strong shot down the ground, but it's an excellent piece of fielding from Jane Maguire at mid-on. So hard when it's hit at you that quickly at mid-on to keep attacking the ball and then to throw the stumps down, and just sums up where the Typhoons are at the moment. Everything they touch is turning to a wicket at the moment. Scorchers 16 for 6.
Probably not necessary from Coulter Riley. It's a bit of a... I think she got overexcited about how well she'd hit it. Unfortunately, she hit it well enough to be run out. Very close. It was closer than I thought it was, as you saw on that replay. Just don't think she got her bat down quite in time. Didn't slide it. That's 2 run outs so far from the Typhoons. Panic setting in from the Scorchers. So Cara Murray joins her captain. The 2 spinners, 2 of the 3 spinners from the Scorchers now out in the middle. Celeste Rack will again look to probably get Leah Paul off strike and bowl at the right-handed batter, Murray.
Good strong shot from Paul. As you were mentioning, probably a little bit easier for Paul with the ball spinning into her from Rack. It's not a bad outcome for Rack to get the right-hander back on strike.
Yeah, one leg spinner to another. They hate getting out to each other as well, don't they? Leg spinners are nearly more nervous batting against another leg spinner than any other bowler.
Yeah, tight stuff this from Rack. She's really enjoying bowling on this pitch and it's getting into really good rhythm. It's been very hard. No bad deliveries so far from either Canning or Rack for the Scorchers to even get a bit of momentum into this innings. Another dot left alone by Cara Murray, and that ends the power play. You won't have seen too many power plays like it. The Scorchers 17 for 6 after 6.
It just keeps getting worse, doesn't it, for the Scorchers? That bright spot there for them, the hope they have is all lies with Leah Paul. She's 8 from 9. Much like when we saw Orla Prendergast earlier in the day, she looks like she's batting on a different wicket. And these two have been awesome. Celeste Rack 1 wicket and Ava Canning 3. There have been 2 run outs, so 6 wickets down. And Laura Delaney says she fancies a go on this wicket. She's going to bring herself on. We might see her bowl cross seam for a few of these deliveries, Laura Delaney. Just means that if it hits the seam, it'll pop, and if it hits the smooth, it'll skid through. Makes it quite difficult, and there is a lot of grip on this deck, so if it does hit the seam, it'll be very difficult to play. They're putting a catcher in front. That's good field placement from the captain, looking to keep taking wickets. They'll need to take all 10 to win this game. If the Scorchers can bat through, they might be able to chase down the very low total. They need 79 for victory. A packed offside field, just 3 on the leg side.
You'd think Paul might try go for that sweep shot at some stage if the right delivery is there. Seemed to be her run scoring option thus far in this innings, but an awful lot depends on her as well. If the Typhoons were to get the wicket of the captain, might be the end of this run chase.
Yeah, a lot lies on her shoulders. Changing field, Jane Maguire just moving to point. She's a bit of a specialist point fielder. Didn't do too bad a job in mid on the last over, but it is likely to go to point quite a lot with Laura Delaney bowling over the wicket to the left-hander. So you'd expect it to be a high traffic area. Innovation and out. Looks to get it over the wicketkeeper's head, but takes the bottom of the bat straight up, and Mary Waldron was alive to it. Takes an easy catch, and that's the 7th wicket down.
Yeah, probably just not enough pace on the ball from Delaney to play that shot. I think initially Leopold was actually trying to play that one overhead to that short fine leg fielder, but instead it was wider from Delaney and tried to angle her bat. It's just ended up completely coming straight off the edge of it and popped up in the air, and it completes another wicket for the Typhoons. It's been brilliant from them. Scorchers 17 for 7.
Yeah, I initially thought it hit the bottom of the bat, but it actually took the side. She tried to change her mind at the last second, Leopold. 17 for 7. Anna Kerrison comes out to join Cara Murray with her team in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you say to the incoming batter if you're Cara Murray here, other than let's dig in.
Well, she's a good thinking cricketer, Cara Murray. She'll no doubt have a plan. They just need to get a further 62 runs to win in now 13 overs. So very doable. It's the wickets column that's causing them problems though. That's 7 overs gone. Scorchers 17 for 7.
Yeah, it's been very good from the Typhoons. We thought at the halfway stage that a score of 78 may well be below par, but they've come out and they took wickets early on. They took 2 wickets in that first over, which you could already sense from the Scorchers that maybe brought about a little bit of panic. Sometimes when you're losing wickets quickly, pads are flying everywhere in the tent. New batters coming in and out. It's absolute chaos.
And another one goes. Hit it well, but hit it in the air. An easy catch for Orla Prendergast. Cara Murray goes for a duck.
And there'll be more pads going everywhere now, as the Scorchers are 17 for 8. What has been a superb bowling display from the Typhoons. Rack just tempting Murray in there with that tossed up delivery, and as you say, Isabel, she hit that well, put straight into the hands of Orla Prendergast, and that's probably not the fielder you want to be picking out. And Ashley King is going to come to the middle. Didn't see her with the ball so far this afternoon, but I suspect she didn't think she was going to have this much of a job to do with the bat in hand.
Yeah, probably didn't even know where her pads were when she was having to go find them. Didn't expect to be out in the middle at all, let alone in the 8th over. Huge job for the Australian to do. There's been disappointment for Celeste Rack, not selected for the World Cup qualifiers coming up. And perhaps that pressure taken off has enabled her to start bowling the best we've seen her this year. Too much turn to take the edge of Ashley King. It's Rack's final over of her spell. Match 5 of the Arachas Super 20 trophy. Too good. It's gone between bat and pad, but missed the off stump because it's turned too much. Excellent bowling from Rack. Hostile batting conditions today. There's a lot of rain in the past week, so it's a difficult wicket to bat on. Takes a lot of turn, seaming around as well. And it's dots on wickets that we're seeing for the most part from the Scorchers. If you are just joining us now, there's not anything wrong with our graphics on screen. The Scorchers are indeed 17 for 8. Earlier, the Typhoons posted 78 all out in the 20th over. We thought it was a low score, but it's looking better and better the further into the game we go. It's 8 overs gone, 8 wickets down, and the score on just 17. I suspect there were friends in the Typhoons tent at half time, and they're all smiles now. They can smell a win. It'll be their first in this competition so far. Scorchers have won the 3 games that have been played. One was washed out. There are 2 games today. So it'll be in a losing cause that the Typhoons win this game. They can't win the trophy, but they can win a couple of games and get some pride back. Rebecca Stokel in close catching. And Laura Delaney coming in from the Fennel end.
You can hardly believe it, really, what's happened in this run chase. 17 for 8. And so close to 17 for 9. With Anna Harrison stuck in her crease there, trying to play that out into the offside. Good bowling from Laura Delaney. Not sure what you do say in the Scorchers camp at the moment. I'd say it's a pretty silent tent.
Stunned silence, you'd imagine. Well, I think if I was talking to any of these batters going out, I'd say get 1 run, then get another, and just do it bit by bit. Don't look at the end of the game, don't look at the target you need, just try and score your first run and then your second. Sounds obvious, but sometimes when you break it down into small parts like that, it can seem like an easier task. And the 9th one goes down. Anna Harrison bowled for a 6-7 ball duck. The Scorchers are 17 for 9.
Yes, 17 for 9 is right. Good bowling from Laura Delaney. Stump to stump line. Good fields as well. Keeping the players in the ring there, in the covers, and brings Kate McAvoy to the creases. The last 2 standing here for the Scorchers, 10 and 11, King and McAvoy.
You can just see Ashley King talking to Kate McAvoy coming in with a shrug of the shoulders. She's not quite sure what to say, but there's nothing to lose now really for Kate McAvoy. She can hit a good ball. Good, tall, strong girl.
Not sure there's much you can say, to be fair, to Ashley King.
I don't think I've ever said the words 17 for 9 before in my life, and I don't think I ever will again, hopefully.
Now, I don't have records at hand here, but I'd say we're in contention certainly for the lowest score in this competition's history. Let me get that checked out for you, but I'd be a little bit disappointed if there was worse than 17 for 9.
Still time for them to a chance, but it just misses the fielder in close and mid-wicket. Georgina Dempsey. So another run to the total, valuable run. 9 overs gone. Scorchers are 18 for 9.
Oh, Kate McAvoy's got off the mark with a nice shot actually out towards a vacant mid-on area. Was in the air for a little while, but going to see that change in bowling, of course, with Iraq having finished her 4 overs, and we're going to see Maria Carrison come into the attack.
Good bowling change from Laura Delaney. She does have quicker bowlers in her ranks, Georgina Dempsey and Jane Maguire, but the slower bowling is the order of the day really. Maria Carrison by no means slow, but not as quick as those other 2 bowlers. Tends to bowl stump to stump, very difficult to get away, and did take those 4 wickets in the game we've mentioned a couple of times, so coming into this game in form. It's good to see that performances in other games gets you selected for Super Series matches. Good start. Kate McAvoy, no meaningful foot movement, just waves the bat really. Probably a few nerves for the youngster. I said earlier it was quite warm. It's actually now got very cold, hasn't it? It looks like there might be some rain on the way. The wind has picked up, so not the best conditions for playing cricket. But we do have another game in this competition. Inside edge. Ava Canning will come around and keep it to 1. Yeah, we are supposed to have another match in this competition at 4:30. Hopefully we'll see a better batting performance from both teams. That will be the final game in the Arachas Super Series.
Yes, well, in the words of our usual colleague Andrew Leonard, it is freezing right now.
Dugout from Ashley King. And that's the final wicket. Maria Kerrison takes her first wicket of the day, and it's the last one. Incredible stuff. The Scorchers, the whole team dismissed for 19 runs. A huge victory in the end. Won by 60. You wouldn't quite believe it, would you?
No, hard to believe. 19 all out. The Scorchers, I'd say they were pretty happy with their work in the field. Had them restricted the Typhoons to 78. It looked a good effort with ball in hand. But that run chase never got going. And it was a seriously good bowling display. Started off by Canning and Celeste Rack and Laura Delaney, and then Maria Kerrison getting in on the act as well. So all bowlers used were successful. The type of team performance in the field that you dream of. The Scorchers falling to a 59 run defeat. You can see them on your screen right now. I'm sure they don't know almost what to say to each other. Bit of stunned silence in the camp, a few giggles. They'll be looking to bounce back as you have a look at that match summary. The Typhoons posting 78, Orla Prendergast with 19. How critical were those runs in the end? The other three women to get into double figures: Lulu Little, Celeste Rack and Rebecca Stokel. Even the runs of Rack and the likes of Ava Canning right at the end of the innings for the Typhoons were critical to just bring them up to a score that they could try and defend. Emma Richardson with a excellent 4 for 21 from her 4. There was some seriously good efforts with the ball for the Scorchers, as you can see there. Lara Moritz 2 for 3, only used for 2 overs. Sophie McMahon 1 for 5 from her 3, and Cara Murray 2 for 12 from her 3. So they'd have been very happy with where they were out here in North Kildare at half time. But a sorry state of affairs. That run chase, Leah Paul top scoring with 8. Shauna Kavanagh the second top scorer with just 4 runs. Ava Canning 3 for 9. It was a standout performance from the Irish opening bowler. Her in-swing causing problems. 2 wickets in that first over, which was probably the key. McCann and Richardson departing. Richardson a key wicket to get. And then Celeste Rack backing that up at the other end. 2 for 8 from her 4 overs. An excellent spell from the leg spinner, who will be disappointed to have missed out on that Irish squad for their upcoming qualifiers, but putting her name back in the hat. Obviously there's 50 over qualifiers to come. Laura Delaney there, the Irish captain and the Typhoons captain, bringing herself on first change, and it was an excellent effort from herself. 2 for 1 from her 2 overs, bowling stump to stump. And Maria Carson, the last bowler to come on, 1 for 1 from just 5 deliveries for herself. So very good effort from the Typhoons. Very good effort. It's probably an understatement. An excellent effort with the ball in hand. Restricting the Scorchers to 19. Your graphics tell you right. 19 all out. A low scoring game here. Less than 100 runs scored in the first game today of today's first T20, and we're going to now hand over to Isabel Joyce for the Player of the Match presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew, and welcome to the post-match presentation for Match 5 of the Arachas Super 20 Trophy. I have with me the Player of the Match, Ava Canning. 3 for 9 for you today, Ava. Incredible stuff, really. I have to ask, what was said in between the innings, defending just 79?
I think we knew that the pitch was going to be a tough pitch, because obviously we all struggled out there and we knew the conditions were quite tough to bat on. So I think we all just knew if we go for the stumps and try and bring as many wickets into play as we can, it hopefully would all go well if we started well.
Really good. And just on a personal note, this year has been huge for you coming into the Ireland team, opening the bowling for the Typhoons, and you must be really looking forward to taking this kind of form into the qualifiers coming up.
Yeah, I think it's been a really strange year, like coming back from a year of pretty much no cricket into opening the bowling for the Typhoons straight away. But I'm really happy with how it's gone, and hopefully the same will keep going for the qualifiers.
One more game today. You've got an hour off, and then you're playing the last match in this competition. You can't beat the Scorchers in the trophy, but do you think that the team is really up for just showing what they can do again?
Yeah, I think all of us kind of want to go out and end the season well, because obviously we've had a few performances recently where we've slowly come closer and closer. So I think we just want to show what we can do in this last game and hopefully come out with the win at the end of the day.
Okay, well, congratulations on the Player of the Match award. Well done on the win, and best of luck in the next game. That's it from me. We'll join you again in another hour for the last match of the series, and thanks for joining us.